Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, and time for our viewer queries. We have our experts today, Kunal Bothra as well as Sharmila Joshi. So let's get going with the queries now. And the first one that I've got from Kaji, and he's saying that he has booked profit in the pipe segment, Astral, Poly and Prince Pipes, but he wants to know whether it's good time now to actually look to re-enter these particular counters as Astral as well as Prince Pipes. What's your take on this one, Kunal? Do you think that it makes sense right now to reinvest in these particular counters? Because Kaji said that he's already booked profits.
I think it depends on what level the viewer has booked profits. But I for one believe that these are good stocks from a longer term point of view. These stocks have done pretty well for themselves in the last 2 years. You look at it from the span of the last 3 to 4 years as well. These stocks have been steadily rising up higher. So I think from a correction, for example, for Prince Pipe, from a correction of 800, 850 levels, the stock has come back to a 600, 650 zone for itself. Those are good levels, good retracements for stock prices where you can look to re-enter. So as I said, depends on your exit price. If it's on the higher side, then you should definitely look to buy the stock back again at lower levels.
Okay, we've got a question coming in from Sudha. She says she's a senior citizen, and this question is for you, Kunal. She's asking for a technical view on SAIL, and quite a few of these metal counters have been in focus, but she's bought at 120 plus levels. She wants to know about what the near-term levels are to be watched for.
On metal stocks, we discussed this earlier as well, Alex. And I believe for SAIL, you can look out for 109, 110 as a near-term target range. Now, it all depends on how strong the cycle goes across and how soon can these stocks sustain as well as gain more momentum from current levels. So if the metal pack and the metal rally say continues for another couple of weeks, then we can expect SAIL to even cross that 110, 115 mark. So you'll have to take it stage by stage. As of now, I believe 110 mark approximately could be a good level where you can look to book out profits, assuming if you have trading positions over here. And then watch the movement of the sector overall. If the sector shows more momentum, then you can look to buy the stocks back again for a higher targets of 120, 125 as well.
Right. I have two viewer queries, both on Aurobindo Pharma. One is from Vishal. He's written to us from Dubai, and he's saying that he wants a long-term view on Aurobindo Pharma. He already has some holdings, which he's purchased at 730 rupees per share. And the other one is from Shanmuga Sundaram. He wants to know whether he should accumulate Aurobindo Pharma at present level, and he wants an analysis on Aurobindo Pharma for the next 1 year. How does the stock look? Sharmila, over the longer term, how does Oro look to you, as well as do you think that Shanmuga should go ahead and accumulate at these levels?
So yes, I think first coming to how does it look at current levels, I think this stock looks very good. The kind of numbers that they've given quarter on quarter over this last year have been very steady and very sort of a very stable performance coming from Aurobindo. And I think the whole sector has actually benefited from the ongoing standoff in Europe, simply because when you look at the sanction situation, and since we haven't really imposed any sanctions on Russia, I think there is a good possibility that a lot of the pharma buying could shift to India, because if other countries have sanctions on them, they would look to buy more from India. So we've actually seen that in this scenario where a lot of pharma stocks, beg your pardon, the market has corrected, the pharma stocks have sort of held their own. So yes, I think definitely continue to hold Aurobindo. When it comes to buying afresh, my advice not just for Aurobindo but for market as a whole would be to stagger your buying. So you can buy at the current levels, but don't buy everything that you wanted to at this level. Go with the flow, see how market is behaving, and stagger your buying.
This next question is a very interesting one. We've got Krishik Basagonda from, I don't know where he's writing in from, but Krishik is writing an interesting question, Sharmila. He wants to buy a few stocks worth 1 lakh rupees for his daughter, Krishika. And this is because she's 1.5 years old, and she wants to buy this so that when she becomes an adult, she has a healthy amount of money to start her adult life with. So what would you suggest that he can buy as of now that is a very long-term bet?
Yes, I think since you're starting out with 1 lakh, maybe you could look at 4 stocks or at the most 5 stocks and look to buy about 20,000 rupees worth of each. And I would really divide my money into 4 or 5 sectors. Out of these, 2 or 3 could be sort of conservative sectors. Simply because at the end of the day, you need to make a balanced portfolio, and it's not that the conservative stocks haven't given good return. So by conservative, I mean typically FMCG, pharma. So in pharma, I think Sun Pharma is a good name, or there could be, you could look at a newer pharma company, for instance, which some of the more recently listed companies, and maybe go with a Gland Pharma or a Loris Lab, that kind of a stock. But or just stick with Sun Pharma because they have sort of a proven track record. Then I would look at definitely one banking name. Currently, I think the banking stocks that I like are HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. So you could look at one of those. But even if you were to go with a Kotak or an Axis, I think that would be fine if since you are looking from a very, very deep sort of a long-term view. And then I think perhaps you also need to add one of the large cap IT because they are sort of giving very steady returns, and for them the prospects look good. So that could be another sector to look at. I like HCL Tech within that space. And then I think for the other two, you should look at slightly, one could be like a new age stock. By new age, I mean, some of these new businesses and new listings where since you definitely can take that risk since your daughter is so young. So one of the stocks that I have spoken about for many times on the show is Map My India. But something like that, like something little bit more where which look ahead of earnings, but where possibilities could be good going ahead. Something that fits your interest and that sort of a tag. And I think one could be a commodity play because commodity plays do surprise us time to time. Look at what metals are doing, for instance, now. So perhaps these are slightly higher levels to buy metals at, but you could look at something else maybe, some other commodity because they do surprise you, especially over the longer term. So that's typically how I would try to structure it at this point in time.
Krishika, I think this portfolio would be beneficial for a lot of our viewers tuning in, and I hope you guys have been taking notes. Cheryl, the next
Yes,
question.
absolutely. The next one I have is from Snehal, and she's saying that she's bought Jyothi Labs, about 300 shares at a price of 135 rupees per share. She's saying what could be the next exit point as well as outlook ahead. What's your take on this one, Kunal?
So, Jyothi Labs is one of the few mid-cap names which is trying to get into a recovery phase. It's not been a stellar chart as such, but nevertheless, the stock is more, resilient. It doesn't get into sharp periods of correction, but then the recovery is also very slow, steady, and gradual. So, if you're looking at it from a near-term play, I would look out for 200 DMAs as an immediate target. So that should be closer to 155, 160 levels for the stock from current zone.
We've got about 8 minutes left. Let's go a little faster now because a lot of queries piling up. This next one's from Dikshita, and she's asking about Ircon International, which she's bought at an average price of 45. Kunal, she's wondering whether to average her buy price right now.
I'll suggest to exit the stock at current levels. I don't see any major pickup of trend, and I think the charts over the last 2 years have been just consolidating for the stock, so it doesn't warrant a hold according to my chart structures.
A lot of short-term queries. Kunal, Joy Sheila wants to buy a Sundaram Finance. What could be a good level?
Finance has been one of the few stocks which has done reasonably well for itself. I remember, I think, the stock which went up to almost 2,700 or 800 levels, and from there it's corrected to 1,800 plus mark. It's a top quality mid cap name. The stock has been a consistent performer. I believe current levels of 1850, 1860 should be a good zone where you can look to buy. Have a time frame of which is at least 1 year and plus for a stock like Sundial Finance.
Page Industries bought at levels of 31,000. The question from Wilson is, he's got a long-term view, but should he book profits at this juncture?
Is that for me?
Yes, Sharmila, for you.
No, I think you can continue to hold on to it.
Okay, this one is from Amy saying that sold Marico futures April expiry at 525. Should I book profits or should I start accumulating Marico in delivery from here is what Amy is asking. What's your take on this one, Kunal?
I think brilliant call. If you've shorted at 525 odd rupees, that means you've got almost a near-term top for the stock price. I believe it's a good time where you can look to book out profits over here. because it's possible that FMCG stocks which are extremely oversold can be the next candidates of potential rally. So the stocks are getting into a consolidation. They are trying to form a base over here. I believe it's good time where you can look to book out profits on Marico on the short side.
Alan from Kolkata has asked this question. He's asking about Hero MotoCorp, which he bought in June 2021 at levels of 3,002 rupees per share. He's got 83 shares. Would you suggest holding on to this, Sharmila? A lot is changing in the two-wheeler space.
Oh yes, but I think he can continue to hold. There was some near-term concern on Hero Motors, but if he's a long-term investor, he should continue to hold.
All right, this one is from Dasarudi and Kunal. I'm unsure if you track this one. SPIC. He wants to know whether he can buy at current market price for 3-month time frame. Do you track this one, Kunal?
I think yes. I think we discussed the stock a couple of weeks back as well. The stock, which I think was priced at 62 or 60 odd rupees for itself. Now it's jumped up to 69.70. It looks attractive. I think the chart setup on the short term is very attractive. Now the stock is perched at a multi-year high for itself at the current level. So it's an attractive buy, and given the market circumstance, I believe that many mid-cap names are inching towards a big breakout. I would suggest a buy.
Okay, Kunal, Concor March 624 strike. Would you exit or roll over? Anjali from Nashik is asking.
See, it's a tough one, but I would probably expect that you can roll over your positions in the expectation that if the market recovers, then even Concor can break out on the upside. So there is a very small glimmer of hope that possibly the markets come back. Then Concor and such other low beta names, they can also make a strong comeback for itself. So you can take that chance. Since the stock is just 5-6 rupees away from your strike price, I believe there is a higher chance that you might get in the money into this trade. I will suggest a hold and a rollover.
All right, this one is from Godfrey D'Souza, and he's saying, can I buy DVs and DMart at current levels for the longer term? What's your take on either of them, Sharmila, DVs or DMart? Do you think that it makes sense for him to buy at current levels for the longer term?
Oh yes, I think DVs for sure, because we were just thinking of the pharma companies, and I think companies like DVs are in a good position because the Europe situation sort of benefits them. So DVs definitely. DMart, I'm afraid I don't really have a view.
Okay, coming back to you, Sharmila, on BSE. It's spoken about in the recent past quite a bit. We've got Bobby Jacob from Coimbatore, who's bought at levels of 950. He is expecting the stock to decline a little bit. I do not know what the rationale is, but he's wondering whether to exit and buy at lower levels.
So I think you should just continue to hold what he has.
Okay, this one from Sagar, and Sagar wants a fundamental view on IEX. He's saying that it is good at the current market price to enter, but FIs have been reducing their stake, and DIIs and retailers are picking it up. What's your view on this one, Sharmila? IEX fundamentally good one to actually look at in current levels?
I think so. If you're talking of the sort of the exchange plays, then IEX and MCX are two stocks that I like. I don't know about this rebalancing between FIs and retail. That part I'm not sure of. But just in terms of the potential for their market to grow, I like IE.
Okay, Suven is the counter. Suven Life Sciences currently trading higher by as much as 9.4%. Kunal, the question is, would you buy, or rather, if you've held, okay, I believe that there's some mistake with this query. I'll come back to it in just a bit because I think the share price is wrong. Tata Power bought at levels of 230. Bikram from Ranchi is asking whether to hold or to book profits. He's got 1,000 shares. Kunal, what should he do?
I'll suggest to hold for Tata Power. If you're looking at it from a short-term play, then I believe 245 to 250 could be an immediate target range. But I've been saying this and advocating the stock since last I think so many months and so many quarters as well, that the more the time frame or the longer the time frame you can hold on to a stock like Tata Power, the much higher is the potential upside which can expect into the stock price. So it all depends on your time frame. Short-term wise, 245 to 50 could be an immediate target.
All right. With that, let's kickstart with the rapid fire segment, and this one is coming in from Suvendu Malik. He's saying he has Eicher Motors purchased at 2,400 rupees per share. Should I add some more? And he wants this view for the next 2 years. What's your take on this one, Sharmila? Do you think it makes sense to add Eicher right now?
Yes, but add in a
Kunal, Suven Pharma, not Life Sciences, currently trading at over 600. If you bought at 566 months back, where can you exit?
I think it looks attractive on the charts. I would suggest to hold on for the stock. Keep 525 as a trading stop loss and keep on holding.
All right. This one is coming in from Mahindra Patnaik. He has 800 shares of GMR Infra purchased at 39 rupees per share. How is it looking from the long-term perspective? Should I add more? What's your take, Sharmila?
No, I wouldn't add.
Okay, Advanced Enzyme bought at a price of 315 and making losses. Kunal, would you hold on at this point or would you exit?
I would exit and get back into mainstream pharma names, something like Aurobindo Pharma or Sun Pharma would be better bet.
Okay, this one's from Deepak and he's talking about restaurants of brands Asia. I'm sorry, I did not recollect that it was Burger King, erstwhile Burger King. He has 2,500 shares at an average price of 133 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he can add some more or should he look to sell. His views for the next 1 year. What's your take, Kunal?
Well, I don't have too much of history, frankly, Cheryl to comment on it. So I'll give it a skip.
Okay, HCL futures, how would you play it, Kunal, for April?
I think if you're looking at a bullish kind of a trade, then I would suggest buying at current levels. Keep a stop loss closer to 1170 from a short-term play and targets closer to 1225.
Okay, let me take the Burger King question to you, Sharmila. Do you have a view on this one? What should Deepak do? He already has 2,500 shares purchased at above 133 rupees per share.
I think he can continue to hold. I think you're talking of Deja Meat and Assets, right?
No, we are talking about Burger King. We're talking about restaurants brand Asia.
Beg your pardon. Yeah, I think you can continue to hold it.
Okay, Union Bank bought at levels of 160, asking will they get, Krishnan from Goa is asking, will they get their price back? So very elevated levels. Sharmila, what should he do?
I'm sorry, I missed the stock name.
Union Bank bought at levels of 100.
I need to get out of this to either a State Bank or a Bank of Baroda.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the query segment. Thank you so much, Sharmila, as well as Kunal, for joining us on the show, for giving us your take on Z as well as resolving viewer queries.